Prost, René Arnoux, Nelson Piquet and Patrick Tambay are all in a position to become this year's world champion after racing against each other for hundreds of miles in Brazil, America and Europe. For after 13 Grand Prix, Prost leads Arnoux by only 2 points, with Piquet a close third and Tambay near enough to win if he gets the breaks. This year's world champion Keke Rosberg is in 5th place, but John Watson in 6th position could move ahead of Rosberg. But today they could all be beaten, for in a sponsor's dream position, Elio De Angelis in this John Player Special is in pole position for today's Grand Prix of Europe here at Brands Hatch, ahead of Riccardo Patrese Brabham and Elio's teammate Nigel Mansell. Nelson Piquet is 4th, Arnoux 5th and Tambay 6th, ahead of the Renaults of Eddie Cheever and World Championship leader Alain Prost. John Watson is in 10th place on the grid in his 150th Grand Prix, with Derek Warwick 11th and Jonathan Palmer 25th in his first Grand Prix. But despite their pole position, Lotus aren't in the running for the Constructors' Championship, which is led handsomely by Ferrari, 17 points ahead of Renault, who could still win. Brabham are 3rd and Williams 4th, but they could still be overtaken by McLaren. So, with so much at stake, and Brands Hatch being the demanding driver circuit that it is, it promises to be an intriguing Grand Prix of Europe.
And this is the man who could upset the apple cart today, Elio De Angelis, who is in pole position for today's European Grand Prix. He's only won 1 Grand Prix, today could be his 2nd. So Riccardo Patrese, the Italian, 4 points only in the championship. Nigel Mansell, 3rd on the grid here today. His position in the team for JPS Lotus is rumoured to be not on for 84. Nelson Piquet, probably the fastest driver of them all. He won the last Grand Prix at Italy, world champion of 1981, and Piquet in 3rd position in this year's championship, which he could still win. And that is the Ferrari, the turbocharged V6 Ferrari of René Arnoux, who with 3 wins and 2 second places in the last 5 races has fought his way up to 2nd place in the championship with 49 points. And here is the frog which here anyway, and certainly amongst the English mechanics, personifies little and very popular Alain Prost, the world championship leader, the little Napoleon if you like. You see the fingers of Derek Ongaro, the most responsible man here at Brands Hatch at this moment. Go! Patrese sprints through, Mansell is up, Piquet is into 3rd position, Patrese has got a real flying start. Nigel Mansell is up into 3rd position and challenging his teammate Elio De Angelis as they go up into the right-hander at Druids. And there you see for yourself that the Renaults are starting to come up as well, and as they come down the descent to Graham Hill Bend, it is Riccardo Patrese in the lead. It is Elio De Angelis 2nd, Mansell 3rd, Piquet 4th, Cheever 5th and Manfred Winkelhock 6th.
Yes, and Nelson Piquet's had a bit of a moment going into Druids. They had to lock up his brakes, and you see the haze from the turbos, all that heat coming off from the Piquet. A bit of a sandwich there. He's got very much blocked. He's trying to go down the inside, having a look, and it's really important for Piquet to get away and make up places. One of the big problems at Brands Hatch is that overtaking is very, very difficult. So this first lap is all important when it's a bit messy for the good drivers to try and make their places, because once the race settles down, it becomes very, very difficult to pass.
Out of the race already, Jean-Pierre Jarier, whose car is parked at the start. And by the way, Riccardo Patrese is using his spare car because he had a misfire in the warm-up and opted to go out in the spare. And look what magnificent use he is making of it, because he's coming through to complete lap 1 in the lead from Elio De Angelis 2nd. Then there's a gap. It's Mansell 3rd, Piquet 4th, Cheever 5th, Manfred Winkelhock in 6th position. You see them now climbing up to Druids, and they're getting well spread out already. But the good news is, for British enthusiasts, that both the JPS Lotus Renaults are well up. There is Winkelhock being chased by Alain Prost, the 2 Ferraris, René Arnoux and Patrick Tambay, with the white-helmeted Frenchman René Arnoux in front, and Derek Warwick is tucked in right behind Patrick Tombe as Piquet is coming up to have a go at third place of Nigel Mansell. Patrese leads, and Piquet is through into third position. Now, let us not forget that after the Italian Grand Prix there is not a lot of love lost as Chiva goes through and tries to take Nigel Mansell between Nelson Piquet and Riccardo Patrese. And if Piquet catches Patrese, and Chiva is through, is he? Yes! Chiva cuts across the front of Nigel Mansell.
And this is really hairy stuff. I tell you, these guys are well aware, as I just said, that they've got to make their places early in the race before things have settled down. And Piquet managed to get Nigel Mansell around the outside into Hawthorns, and Chiva really having a huge go there down the inside. Terrific stuff.
Now the gap between Riccardo Patrese in the lead and his teammate Nelson Piquet, who is fourth, is already 4.3 seconds. And Elio De Angelis is giving nothing away to Riccardo Patrese. And I believe that the Pirelli runners, and there is Nigel Mansell and Elio De Angelis, are going to deliberately run a tactical race. They are not totally sure about whether their tyres are going to last the distance, and they are going to pace themselves very carefully indeed. There is Nigel Mansell still ahead of Alain Prost. That is Eddie Chiva, and Prost is coming up to take Mansell, and he goes straight through. So now the order is in the lead. Riccardo Patrese and Arnoux goes through. Something surely must be wrong with Nigel Mansell's car, the way he's slipping down.
Yes, he seems to be going backwards. I don't know whether it's a tyre problem or just not getting enough grip out of his choice of race compound there. But unlikely, because De Angelis is certainly going very nicely up front. But Mansell really seems to be struggling, and they're all gobbling him up.
René Arnoux, you saw there, is in sixth position, and here is the battle for fourth.
Yes, he'll be a little bit frustrated, because once they get into the twisty section around the back, he's climbing all over the back of Eddie Chiva's car, and he really would like to get through, particularly as he's got a straight line speed disadvantage. So Chiva, at this stage of the World Championship, in the normal way, it's everybody for himself, but he really should let Prost through to have a go at Nelson Piquet, because they're in striking distance. Prost is having a look, and I think he's made it down the inside. Yes, there goes Prost through, and now he's got a clear run at Nelson Piquet.
The gap being 9.7 seconds. A change then with Alain Prost moving up into fourth position. Riccardo Patrese still leads in his wheel tracks. Elio De Angelis. Third is Nelson Piquet. Fourth is Eddie Chiva. This is Alain Prost. Fifth is Eddie Chiva. Sixth is Arnoux. Seventh is Mansell. Eighth is Winkelhoff. Ninth is Tombe.
Patrese is in trouble. It looks like he's headed for the pits.
This, of course, is sensational. Riccardo Patrese is slowing down, as he has done so many times this year, and is being taken now by Alain Prost as they go into Paddock Bend. So Patrese on lap 12 of the European Grand Prix looks as though he's about to lose his place to Alain Prost. There is the Italian leading the Frenchman leading the World Championship and going through. No, Patrese won't let him, and that means, of course, that Nelson Piquet is now in the lead. And in third position is Alain Prost. In second position is Riccardo Patrese. So this is now the battle for second place.
Piquet is now leading. I'm very sorry, but we have lost Elio De Angelis. We didn't see what happened to him, but he hasn't come by. And Riccardo Patrese has had trouble, so I can only assume that they must have made contact somewhere around the back of the circuit, and or had some sort of a moment, because they are... Patrese has dropped back, which implies that he might have had a spin, because his car appears healthy, and that De Angelis has gone missing. So they either made contact or somebody spun in front of the other one, and the whole pattern of the race has changed, because there is Piquet. Piquet now leads. Piquet leads clearly, but Prost is only a couple of seconds behind him and possibly catching.
6.9 seconds, in fact just under 7 seconds is the gap between the new race leader Nelson Piquet on lap 13 and these battling too. And this, of course, is making things tremendously exciting from the World Championship point of view, because the man who is leading the World Championship, Alain Prost, the second of these two cars, is in third place in the race. The man who is in third position in the World Championship is leading the race. And Piquet is the fastest man on the course, 1 minute 15.4, as you see, the speed of 124.7 miles an hour. Elio De Angelis coming into the pits on lap 14, the pole position holder, and he's out of the race. You saw his arms come out of the cockpit. Whatever the problem is, I do not know, but obviously a heartbroken De Angelis is out. And Prost is through into second position. The gap between himself and Nelson Piquet is 10.45 seconds. And the race order on lap 16 out of 72, Nelson Piquet leads Alain Prost. In third position, it is Riccardo Patrese. In fourth place, it is Eddie Cheever. In fifth position, it is Arnoux. And in sixth place, it's Nigel Mansell ahead of the seventh place man, Patrick Tambay. Eighth is Manfred Winkelhock. In ninth position, it's Andrea de Cesaris. 10th is Warwick, and 11th is Watson. 12th is Lauda. 13th Rosberg, the leading non-turbo car. 14th Mauro Baldi, and then Giacomelli. 16th is Sura. 17th is Stefan Johansson. 18th is Alboreto. Then 19th and 20th Sullivan and Guerrero. And an astoundingly good reliability record, with so far apparently only Jarier out and De Angelis. And this is Arnoux chasing Cheever, chasing Patrese, who is in third position. And off goes Arnoux. He's spun off, and that's, to put it mildly, damaged Arnoux's chances on lap 20 out of 72, and it looks as though with his rear wheel spinning he can't rejoin.
Yes, he's got his tummy stuck on that high curve, and he may well not be able to get back into the race, because technically, and hang on, here we go, and René Arnoux has only himself to blame. He lost control of his own accord apparently, and he's got going again, so he's back on the track. But if he received outside assistance, he faces potential disqualification for getting a push.
And this is really great stuff. Riccardo Patrese third, Cheever fourth, Mansell fifth, Tambay sixth, and behind Patrick Tambay in the Ferrari is Andrea de Cesaris. And that's one of the Tyrrells gone. It is Danny Sullivan spinning off the circuit with the back of his car on fire, badly on fire, and he drives on. He doesn't realise it. Surely he must see in his mirrors that his car is on fire. You can see it flaming underneath and Danny Sullivan must get to a fire point quickly.
Yes, that's an oil fire. I think he must have blown an oil line off, which probably caused the spin, and bumped on the curb, sparked it. And away he goes, but anyway, he's clocked it and has gone to park.
And straight onto his car descend the ever-efficient members of the British Motor Racing Marshals Club with their fire extinguishers, and I hope they get them going quickly, having said that. And out of the car gets Danny Sullivan, off goes the fire extinguisher, and that is a very expensive motor car save for Ken Tyrrell. As Patrese, Piquet in the lead now. This is lap 29. And Piquet has got a commanding lead. He's now 1:15.026, which is still the fastest lap of the race. And that car's going to take a lot of cleaning up, but at least it is in one piece and safe. John Watson in the pits, as you see, his teammate Niki Lauda out, and it looks as though it's just a routine pit stop from the way the mechanics' hands went up. There is Patrese, Cheever and Mansell, followed by Tambay and De Cesaris. No change for third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. No change for first, second. But any one of these first 7 drivers has only got to put a wheel out of line, and there will be a change. To the pits now. There is Eddie Cheever, and he, I remind you, was in 4th position. He isn't anymore, of course. Nigel Mansell has moved up ahead of him, and out, that's a good stop. Just over 11 seconds, Eddie Cheever. 11.7 seconds, Eddie Cheever then. New tyres, new rubber, but Mansell is now right behind the third place man, Riccardo Patrese. Now Patrick Torbay is fifth. Now Andrea De Cesaris is sixth. And the gap between Nelson Piquet, the race leader, and Alain Prost in second place, who is coming through to complete a lap and has actually got John Watson in front of him as he goes round Paddock Bend, is just about 10.8 seconds as it was before. Riccardo Patrese third now, Nigel Mansell fourth now, and Eddie Cheever, the first of the front runners to come in and complete his pit stop. There's the Ferrari signal to Patrick Torbay and to René Arnoux. And those, I think, are indicating when they should be coming in for their laps, because we're now on lap 37. And René Arnoux is due in. Yes, he's due in on lap 38. They gave him a 2 there. That may mean 2 more laps to go as you look at Derek Warwick chasing Manfred Winkelhock. And Nigel Mansell is right up with Patrese. That's Patrese and Mansell in third and fourth places, going up Halewood Hill into Druids. And Nigel, having got Eddie Cheever out of his sights, seems to have found a fresh lease of life now, because he's pushing, as you can well see, Riccardo Patrese very hard. And there's little doubt in my mind that Patrese is holding him up, because I noticed that Patrick Torbay is much closer to Nigel Mansell than he was. And of course Torbay, who is in fifth position, has got Andrea De Cesaris right behind him.
Yes, Patrese is definitely causing a queue, but Mansell's having a little look there. The problem for Nigel and for the others is that Patrese is very quick down the main straight, and he doesn't seem to be, Mansell doesn't seem to be able to get any benefit from the tow behind the power of the BMW engine and the Brabham. So he's got to really use his thinking cap to try and either find a way past, or preferably create one by maybe doing a bit of feinting and trying to worry Patrese.
De Cesaris in the pits. This is a routine pit stop. Andrea De Cesaris in the Alfa Romeo. A good time is going to be 10 seconds or less, and it looks as though it is going to be a good one. No, it's not. 12.5 seconds for Andrea De Cesaris. So he's lost just about a second to Eddie Cheever, who took 11.7 seconds, and there's going to be a period of confusion now with René Arnoux in the pits. Now, René Arnoux, as I talked to you, was in 11th place. Now he's getting the fresh rubber, and probably they may take a chance and put him on a slightly softer compound than they would normally have done. And we can expect René Arnoux now to adopt that, as ever, distinctive posture of his, head well forward. That is Patrese in third position. Nigel Mansell behind him, still in fourth.
And that's one of the Tolmans in the pits, Derek Warwick, getting a stop. We haven't seen the time. We don't see what time he arrived.
Derek Warwick in fifth position. Now, as we look at René Arnoux, it is Nelson Piquet who has yet to stop in the lead. Prost, who is second, has yet to stop. Nigel Mansell, who is third, has yet to stop, as has Patrick Torbay, who is fourth. Derek Warwick, who was fifth, has been into the pits. You've just seen him, and therefore will have slipped down a place or two. But up into sixth place now has come Keke Rosberg, which is sensational. And now here is Prost. This could be the most critical pit stop of the race. The World Championship leader, second in the European Grand Prix, stopping on lap 42, the end of lap 41. And it's not a terribly good stop, 13.94. I know that sounds ridiculous to say that 13.9 seconds to take on 25 gallons of fuel and change 4 tyres and wheels is not a very good stop. But these days, you have to be below 10 seconds to be praiseworthy. Indeed, this morning, the Lotus team did a stop, a practice one, admittedly without all the pressure of the race, in 7.8 seconds. there are the Lotus mechanics waiting for Nigel Mansell, who is in third position to come and make his pit stop. And I have no doubt that Gordon Murray, who you saw in the pits, was comparing notes with the mechanics to make sure that what happened to Patrese does not happen to the race leader Nelson Piquet when he comes in. It is anticipated in 2 laps' time. And Nigel Mansell, that we are looking at now in third position with Patrick Tambay behind him in fourth place, is due to make his pit stop now. He's coming into clearways, the last right-hander at the end of the lap. If you see him start to slow and Tambay start to gain, Tambay is passed up into third place. Mansell is coming in. This could be the pit stop of the race, as could have been Alain Prost's. Alain Prost's time was 13.9. And look, you'll see that Nigel Mansell at the end, rear of his car, has got the distinctive cake rack wing. Oh, what a cracker! What a cracker! 9.6 seconds, by far the fastest.
Yes, and just a fantastic stop by the Lotus team. And as well as that, Mansell was absolutely ready. He had the rear wheels spinning virtually before it had hit the ground off the jack. Fantastic teamwork by the whole of the Lotus team.
Nigel Mansell must have adrenaline flowing by the pint, I should think, because he was in third position on the grid when he started this race. He's now got the power, and that is Eddie Cheever. No, I was going to say Eddie Cheever, who was in sixth position, taking Nigel Mansell, but Nigel will have nothing of it. Don't forget he's on cold tyres. Yes,
he needs to hold him down this straight and hold him into Hawthorns. If he can do that, his tyres will be warm by the time they emerge. He got the feel of the car, and that was very, very critical indeed. Cheever having another look, but I fear it's too late to grab the advantage that Cheever had of having Mansell in front of him on cold tyres. He's warmed him up and he's off and running.
Tambay in the pits. Got the watch running. He was in second place when he came in with all the ins and outs from the pits. So Patrick Tambay ahead of his teammate René Arnoux, and out he goes in 12 seconds. Well, Nigel Mansell still by far the fastest. No, Eddie Cheever's second fastest. Nigel Mansell's pit stop 2 seconds faster than anybody else. And there he is, maintaining his advantage over Eddie Cheever, who of course has made his pit stop. And into the pits comes the race leader, Nelson Piquet. Now don't forget that Riccardo Patrese had trouble. The fastest one we've had, 9.6 seconds. The right front, the left rear. It's happening again. The spanner, they're having trouble with the spanner.
Yep, with the left rear wheel gun, they had a big trouble, and this is going to open the World Championship right up, because Piquet should now be very close to Prost once he gets settled onto the circuit.
He leaps out of the pits quite literally, and there, going round behind him, is Thierry Boutsen. Thierry Boutsen in the second of the two arrows, trying to take Nelson Piquet as they go up the Hellwood Hill ascent. And there is Keke Rosberg apparently coming in. Yeah, Keke Rosberg looks as though he's very much out of the race, driving his last Grand Prix powered by a Ford Cosworth engine, and that's a very sad finish for both the engine and for Rosberg. Cheever, why is Cheever stopped? Cheever has already had his tyres changed, and he was in fifth position, and he's obviously extremely agitated about something. I think his visor's broken. The right holding screw of his visor is broken, and they're going to tape it up for him. Well, this is making the race history, and obviously they're very rattled. You don't train for this sort of thing. Get on with it, says Cheever, and out of the pits he drives, and obviously his dander is well and truly up. Now let us draw breath gently and work out who is where. On lap 47, Nelson Piquet is of course leading, and there he is. Alain Prost is second in the Renault. So two of the three top men in the World Championship are in first and second places. Patrick Tambay is third. Nigel Mansell, as you see, is in fourth position ahead of De Cesaris, and Derek Warwick, who has scored points in the last two Grand Prix in Holland and in Italy, is on his way to scoring again here at Brands Hatch in the Grand Prix of Europe. And good news is that the next car you see is Derek Warwick. Look at that. Derek Warwick, who is in 6th position. This very, very gritty Hampshireman from 4 marks is in 6th position and catching Andrea de Cesaris 5th. Nigel Mansell 4th. And do you remember in Holland, Nigel Mansell went off at Tarzan Bend just as Derek Warwick came through, and thus enabled Derek Warwick to get that 4th place in Holland, which gave him his first World Championship points. Derek really got his head down now. He was here last weekend at Brands and drove a truly brilliant race when, with John Fitzpatrick, he won the Brands Hatch 1,000 kilometre long distance race in a Porsche 956. So Derek really must know Brands Hatch like the back of his hand with these 2 weekends of driving and the Grand Prix practice in between. So Mansell there, 4th position. There is De Cesaris in 5th place, rounding Druids, the slowest corner on the course, and that is Derek Warwick exiting it in 6th position. Watch the gap, and that's Keke Rosberg walking in. You can see that Derek Warwick, there he is, accelerating away down Graham Hill into the Brabham Straight, which goes up to the left-hander at Surtees, is most definitely gaining on Andrea de Cesaris, and at the moment it looks as though Andrea de Cesaris's unreliability bogey, which has taken him out of... The fire extinguisher's gone off in Warwick's car. Derek Warwick's fire extinguisher. Now this is a dreadful thing to happen, because the fire extinguisher is icy cold and his legs will be frozen. He must be out of the race soon.
Yeah, well, the worst thing is he can't see where he's going. But if he just perseveres for a moment, the fire extinguisher... Dear, oh dear, it's going on and on. It's obviously a long-life fire extinguisher.
I think Derek would rather be without it now. I mean, one of the McLaren fire extinguishers went off accidentally in the pits this week, and I put my hand in the frost that was generated, and I couldn't hold it there more than a few seconds. So what Derek Warwick must be like in that heavy Nomex outfit of his, I can't imagine, but it really does look as though it's stopped now. Derek Warwick, of course, has got Bruno Giacomelli behind him in 7th place, and that's his teammate, and Warwick is still in the points after all the agony and fury that he must have suffered. René Arnoux, 13th position, 1 lap behind. René Arnoux has been left. And this is the race of the race at the moment. Piquet on his own. 10 seconds ahead of Alain Prost on his own in 2nd place, and this is the battle for 3rd between Patrick Tambay in the Ferrari, 4th in the World Championship, and Nigel Mansell in the JPS Lotus, who has only scored 6 points in the World Championship so far, 11th equal in position. But he's on his way now to another 3rd place. Is he? Nigel Mansell's going through, and he's passed Nigel Mansell as they go into Paddock Bend at the end of the 65th lap. Moves ahead of Patrick Tambay, who fights back as they go into Druids, and he locks up his right front, does Tambay. That may well have flat spotted it.
Yes, I doubt that much. Terrific reaction from the British crowd. Nigel really set this up with his performance through clearways. He was way quicker than Tambay through clearways, gave him the momentum. He's passed him almost before the braking area. Here we go into Paddock Bend, pushing Patrick out wide. He's got the corner now completely controlled. He holds it in tight so that Tambay can't come back at him at the inside, you see. Forces him to go the long way around. And Tambay, a little bit frenzied going into Druids, locks up his inside front as he starts turning, goes out into the slippery stuff, and Mansell's got his breathing space and he's off and running in now what should be a fairly easy 3rd place to defend.
And now De Cesaris, who is in 5th position, is catching Tambay, and off goes the Ferrari and slams into the tyre barrier at Druids. So Tambay's chance of doing anything in the World Championship, which was virtually nil before, is absolutely 0 now, because out of the European Grand Prix on lap 68 goes the Ferrari, and Tambay is completely unhurt.
Yes, well, has to suspect, we see it again now here, we had to suspect that Tambay's got some sort of a brake problem. He seems to be locking the right front, and the others don't seem to be doing much, because he didn't brake particularly late then. Anyway, he skates into the wall fairly gently and elegantly.
Nelson Sotomayor, because that is his real name. Piquet was his mother's maiden name, which he used in his early days of racing to prevent his parents from knowing that he was doing so. Nelson Piquet Sotomayor, whichever you like to call him, is out of the last corner on the last lap, and he takes the checkered flag to win his third Grand Prix of 1983, the critical and crucial Grand Prix of Europe. He shows his exultation as he does so, because he is now within striking distance of Alain Prost, the World Championship leader, who is coming through in a few moments to complete his race and take second place with Nigel Mansell in the black and gold JPS Lotus, and there are his mechanics ready to cheer him home, and they do so. A superb win then for Nelson Piquet, his third of the year, to give him 9 more championship points by beating Alain Prost in the Renault. And a wonderful third position for Nigel Mansell. In fourth position, Andrea De Cesaris. Fifth, Derek Warwick. Sixth, Bruno Giacomelli. Both the Tolmans in the top 6 places. And that means to say that in the World Championship, Alain Prost still leads, but by only 2 points now from Nelson Piquet, whereas it was Arnoux at the beginning of today's race, and Arnoux is in third position. Only those 3 drivers can now win the 1983 World Championship. In the Constructors' Championship, it's a bit closer than it was this morning. Ferrari with 89 points, 11 ahead of Renault, and in third position, Brabham on 59. And now, the 2 men who finished at the top today and who will fight the championship at Kyalami in South Africa in 3 weeks' time with René Arnoux, Alain Prost and Nelson Piquet, are talking to Barry Gill.
Nelson Piquet, a great race. How was it?
Well, it's very good. I was already in a much better position than Alan for the start. I have only a little bit problem with my first set of tires, because I locked the tires and Durotis and that make a flat spot. But in the pit stop was a little bit too long, but doesn't matter. The car was fantastic, no problem.
Very unusual for the Brabham team not to do a quick pit stop, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's better now. They have a big lead than in another place.
Alain, you've still got a 2 points lead, but it's over another driver. It's now, it looks like you and Nelson. How do you feel about the championship?
It's difficult anyway, but I'm leading the championship. I'm still leading, and it's very important for me, even only 2 points. I think it was a very difficult race for me, because I had to try to catch Nelson at the beginning of the start, and I had a very bad position. Start 8 was very bad at this track, and after a pit stop I could not catch him. He was playing and joking with me, and I knew that I could not catch him.
Alain Prost and Nelson Piquet, the best of luck to you both at South Africa, and thank you for a marvellous race this afternoon.
Anyway, I'm very happy with the championship between me and him, because we're very close friends, and I think who has a little bit more luck than anyone can win.
What a generous tribute from Nelson Piquet. 2 British drivers in the top 6, Nigel Mansell and Derek Warwick, but now for a third British driver, today's Grand Prix here at Brands had a very special significance.
On behalf of the millions of viewers to whom you have given so much pleasure in your 150 Grand Prix and your 5 wins, to give you this. And it says 150 Grand Prix, Brands Hatch, to John Watson.
Almost got.
I've done it again. John Watson MB from BBC TV Grand Prix. Thank you very much. Thank you, John. John, what does it feel like to be the grand old man of Grand Prix?
Well, I don't know. I don't feel that old, but the record says that I am. I just keep going as long as I enjoy it, and I'm still enjoying it, so I'll still be the oldest man probably by the time I stop.
John Watson's 150th Grand Prix, and his 151st will be at Kyalami in South Africa in 3 weeks' time, the last Grand Prix of the year, which is going to decide the 1983 World Championship, and Grand Prix will be there, and we hope you'll be there too.